Good evening, fans. Darth Momo here. Sorry I didn't get this review out earlier. I've been busy getting back to the town and everything, but let's talk about Forces of Destiny, or should I say Downfall of Destiny. Episode 1, Sands of Jakku. Sands on Jakku. Something, I don't know. Something with sand and Jakku. Something that would piss off Anakin. Anyway, okay, let me get this stated first. This reeks, and I mean reeks, of political agenda. Rebels, meh. Force Awakens, very much so. Political statements. Same with Rogue One, although not as much so, but definitely somewhat so. And this, pure political agenda. It's like, remember the times when we had things like the Clone Wars, and when it would feel natural when it would be either a male or a female? And then remember when Rebels came in and it's simultaneously the last of the old and the first of the new? When sometimes it would feel forced, other times it would feel right. And then now we get the sequel trilogy, Rogue One, and Forces of Destiny, which are all just making political statements. I mean, let's think about this. Episode 7. The main leads were a female, a black male, and a Hispanic male. Now, let me get this out here before I piss people off. I have no problem with the diversity. I have no problem with diversity. It's when it's shoved down your throat that it gets annoying. As they did. J.J. Abrams himself said, we didn't judge Finn based off of his color or anything when it came to casting and all that. From the reports that we've seen, when it came down to the 5 or 6 people that were kind of running up for the role, they were all black. Now, does that sound like a coincidence or not? You know, it sounds like it was intentional. And then Rogue One, here we have the only white people there were Jyn Erso and Krennic. You know, everyone else was of a different race. Now, Rogue One, as I said, while definitely still making political statements with the main female protagonist and such, it wasn't as bad as because I truly feel like when it came to Rogue One, it more so went for just actors versus diversity. And as you can see in the Rogue One team, there was a lot. It was very mixed. There was white people, there was black people, there was Asians, there was, other ethnicities, and it felt more natural. It felt kind of like Rebels, with the exception of them forcing a female protagonist down your throat. And then this is worse than Force Awakens. All about a Star Wars show all about females. Female characters. That kind of sounds sexist to me. So, I'm not going to go into a big political rant. We'll save that for our controversial kid talk shows and such, if we ever do any more of those. Otherwise, it introduced a few problems that made me kind of scratch my head. I'll start off with the big one. That little crappy, stupid-looking monster that J.J. Abrams and crew left in for fun at the beginning of Force Awakens, that thing is a huge monster? That thing is a huge monster? What? And then even so, okay, it eats junk. Why didn't it go after BB-8 then? Oh, maybe it wasn't hungry. Then why was it looking up at him? And then the other big one. We have Finn in Episode 7 when they're trying to hide from Han Solo, who they think are Imperial or First Order stormtroopers boarding the Falcon. Rey hands him BB-8, and the weight of BB-8 takes him down. Okay? And he can barely hold BB-8. Finn is a first-order stormtrooper with very high training, and intense training since practically a couple years after birth. And he, not only is he a first-order stormtrooper, but he's one of the top in the order. Okay? He's a top stormtrooper. A role model for others. And he had trouble carrying BB-8. Rey, despite how strong she may be, Rey doesn't appear to be, very buff, hinting that she probably isn't stronger than Finn. She also lives on a desert planet where she has to scavenge for food, and she probably gets one of those bread things a day, maybe a couple other supplements. So, not necessarily good nutritional source. There is no way she could catch BB-8 in midair, or from free fall, run with him, and grab her staff, and continue to run, and then jump on top of of some Imperial wreckage from the Battle of Jakku. There is no way that could have happened. No way. It's about as gullible or as laughable as Joseph Smith running with 6-inch long plates. I'm sorry if that offends any of the Mormon LDS followers out there. It's the first joke that came to mind. Anyway, what else we got? A couple of continuity issues, such as so Rey, presumably due to the time of day in Force Awakens, was heading back to her AT-AT, her little home, after she rescued BB-8 from Tito. But BB-8 was being attacked by Tito not that far from her home. So where's this all happening? That's kind of not that biggie. That's more of a nitpick. But another one, Rey, at the end of after she first finds BB-8, she is very kind of annoyed with the droid. She doesn't really care for him. And that's how this short picks up. But in the next morning on Jakku, she's not necessarily too fond of him either. He's kind of starting to grow on her, but it's not like they're BFFs yet. But in this short, at the end, they're like, she cares for him deeply. That introduces kind of a continuity problem, huh? And then the other thing, what was it? Now I can't remember. I'll think of it. Rey being, you must seem hungry. Here's food. That doesn't seem like something Rey would do. That completely took me out of it. There were several times in this thing where it took me out of it. It's not like, for example, if Ezra did that in Rebels, depending on, if we're talking, Season 1 or Rebels Ezra, it wouldn't take me out of it. That seems like something that would happen, but this is... I don't know why this is canon. I don't know why this is happening. The only reason this is happening is for political agenda. See through it, Star Wars fans. Yes, we may get some good stories. Even I gotta admit that I got the chills in that trailer when Ahsoka's lightsaber is ignited. But this is nothing more than political agenda. Trying to turn Star Wars from a fun adventure away from our daily lives and turn it into political, presumably liberal agenda. Trying to turn everything into their views. We need to boycott this. I don't care if you watch it, that's different, but we need to protest. To quote Barris Offee, it's only a matter of time. How long do we have until Disney ruins the saga with their political agendas and their desires for money? All this is going to be is just some liberal campaign fighting for their views and the right to, or their desires to have their wallets breaking from all the cash they're going to be rearing in from the constant movies they're putting out and the consistent asinine merchandising. To quote Jyn Erso, the time to fight is now.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, comment down below and hit that like button. Oh, and check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find them delight.